Hi y'all, my name is Ashley and today we are making Cantonese Chow Mein. I hope I am pronouncing that right, but yeah. Basically Cantonese soy fried noodles, aka chow mein. Now if you guys watch my content, you know I like to eat, but I'm not the kind of person who likes to be slaving in the kitchen for hours and hours. So I make food that takes 45 minutes or less to make. It has simple ingredients, so I thought I'd share with you guys some of the simple recipes that I make at home. And this is my first time making this recipe, but it tasted really good, so I thought I would share the process with you since it turned out so well. So anyways, you want to start by putting your burner on high, filling a pot with water about 3/4 of the way full, because we're going to put a lot of noodles in the pot, and we're going to place the pot on the burner, which is on high heat. Next, you want to add a good amount of salt into the water. The salt actually helps the water to boil faster, and it gives the noodles some flavoring. I add quite a bit of salt, almost 2 tablespoons. I have low blood pressure, so I can get away with a bit more salt. But if you have health problems or don't like a lot of salt in your food, adjust the salt to your liking. But I find that salt adds flavor to bland foods and can really take your meals to another level just by adding a pinch more of salt. So anyways, you want to take a frying pan, put your burner on medium heat, and fill that frying pan with oil. You want to make sure the bottom of your frying pan is coated, because we are going to fry eggs in that frying pan. Take your eggs. We are going to use 4 eggs. I started off with just 2 eggs, but the recipe actually calls for 4 eggs. Now, the original recipe doesn't necessarily include eggs, but you can add any protein you like to these noodles. Crack your eggs using a fork or the edge of a frying pan, and place the egg into the frying pan. I like to take out the white parts. I think that's the eye or whatever, or that's what I was told. So I just remove that, but you don't really necessarily have to. Any pieces of shell, of course, you're going to want to remove that as well. So now that you have both eggs in the pan, you want to beat your eggs with a fork or a whisk. Definitely probably use a fork depending on what kind of pan you have. But this will make the scrambled eggs that you are making nice and fluffy. You can also beat or whisk the eggs in a bowl before you add the eggs to the pan, but at this point the pan shouldn't be so hot, so you're free to beat the eggs as much as you like and make them nice and fluffy. Hi y'all, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. Most importantly, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on TikTok, follow me, and let's support each other, and let me know what other recipes you want to see me try. Now you can add some seasonings, some salt, about 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons should do, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Now the pan should be hot enough where you should be able to start scrambling your eggs. So you want to move your fork throughout the liquid of the egg yolks and the egg whites until it starts scrambling and clumping up from the heat, which should give you a nice scrambled texture. And continue letting your eggs heat up in the pan and scrambling the eggs using a fork. You can also use a spatula to do this, but I felt comfortable using a fork. Anyways, I didn't originally use 4 eggs, but you want to add a couple more eggs to a frying pan so you get 4 eggs worth of scrambled eggs. Just repeat the steps. And once you are done with your eggs, you want to set them aside in a separate container. I want to thank y'all for sticking around and watching my video up until this point. I'm glad y'all are here. We are taking our noodles now. The noodles that you use for this recipe are Hong Kong Pan Fried Noodles. What I had at home was Mr. Noodles ramen noodles, which I enjoyed the texture of and the taste, so I decided to use those instead. They're similar enough. They're both curly noodles that cook quickly in water, so I add 3 of those into a pot of boiling water. And make sure your water is at a rolling boil before you add your noodles in. Do not add your noodles in until your pot is at a rolling boil. Now, 3 packets should be enough. Noodles should cook quite quickly from a rolling boil, so just put a fork into the noodles. Test to see if any of the noodles are hard by swirling your fork around on the noodles. And if none of the noodles are hard, that means they're soft enough to the point where they're cooked. So you can then go on to drain your noodles. So drain all the water out of the noodles and rinse your noodles in cold water to stop them from cooking. From there, you can put your burner back on to medium heat. You can add some vegetable oil into a pot. You want to make sure that the bottom of the pot is coated with oil. Now you're going to pour all of your noodles from your pot into the frying pan, and you want to toss your noodles in the oil until they become somewhat crispy. So you might want to toss them for a while. I didn't toss mine for too long because I like my noodles on the softer side, not too crispy. But if you want them nice and crispy, toss them with a fork in the oil and they should come up a bit more crispier. Guys, I'm going to leave a list of all the ingredients used in this simple recipe in the description, so check for all the ingredients there. Okay, now you want to take soy sauce. You can use light and dark soy sauce or just plain dark soy sauce or any soy sauce. And you want to add the soy sauce into your noodles until your noodles are coated enough that they will be brown completely from the soy sauce. Next, you want to add about 2 tablespoons or 1 tablespoon, depending on your taste, of oyster sauce. You want to combine the sauces in the noodles on the heat until all of the noodles are coated in the sauce. And you can also add in Shaoxing wine. I couldn't find that at my local grocery store, but you can find pan-fried Hong Kong noodles at the Asian grocery store, as well as Shaoxing wine if it's not at your local grocery store. After that, you want to add in your scrambled eggs into the noodles, and you want to combine well. Next, you want to take fresh bean sprouts. You want to add in your greens last so that they don't become too soft and they still hold a bit of crunch. And so you just want to add a pretty good amount, about 3 handfuls or 4 depending on your taste, into the noodles. And then you want to cut roughly chopped green onion into larger, about 1-inch pieces, and add that into your noodles as well. So you want to combine all of those ingredients with a fork, toss that for a bit, and now you are good to plate your noodles. You are completely done cooking. You can turn off the heat at this point, and this is what the noodles look like. I decided to serve them with broiled garlicky lobster tail. If you want that recipe, like and comment. The noodles were bussin', y'all. Perfect amount of salt, perfect amount of soy sauce, and the garnishes were great. I give it a 9 out of 10 because it would have been better with chili oil.